Every single week, we hear about some new tech that's going to completely change retail. But what's actually happening out there in the real world? Well, that's what we're here for. Welcome to this week's Retail Reality Check. Now, this whole deep dive is brought to you by the folks at IHL Group. They're a retail analyst firm based out of Franklin, Tennessee, and they are the ones crunching the numbers and finding these insights. You can learn way more about them at ihlservices.com. So, let's get right to it. What's the deal with AI in retail right now? Is it still just hype? Well, according to Greg Busek, the president of IHL Group, the answer is a big no. The hype train has left the station. AI is now a must-have tool. He talks about shelf intelligence, basically knowing exactly what's on your shelf at any given moment, and says it's becoming a competitive necessity. You either have it or you're falling behind. All right, so let's jump into the top stories of the week and see what this actually looks like in practice. First up, we've got a name you definitely know, Nordstrom. They're a classic retailer, but they're making some really modern moves, plugging AI right into the heart of their merchandising. So check this out. Nordstrom's partnering with a company called New Order, and what they're doing is pretty wild. They're building this massive universal catalog. We're talking more than 50 data points for every single item. Think about that. This isn't just about speeding up the buying process. It's about creating this incredible foundation of data. And like Greg Busek from IHL says, that data is the fuel you need to actually deliver on those big promises of personalization and super smooth commerce. Okay, so from the back office, let's head out onto the sales floor. Our next story is about a grocery chain, Harmon's, and how they're using robots to get a handle on their inventory. You've got this robot, Tally, just cruising the aisles all on its own. It's scanning for empty spots on the shelf, checking for pricing mistakes, stuff that's in the wrong place. And this is such a great example of what automation is really about today. It's not about replacing employees. It's about letting the robot do the boring, tedious stuff, which frees up the human team members to do what they're amazing at, actually talking and helping customers. All right, now let's look into the crystal ball a little bit, because this next one is really thinking ahead. We're hearing this new term pop up, Agentic commerce, and this is a total game changer. We're talking about AI that doesn't just give you suggestions, it actually goes out and makes purchases for you. Think about how this has evolved, right? First, we had on-demand AI. Think of early ChatGPT. You ask a question, you get an answer. Find me a hotel. Pretty simple. Then we move into ambient AI, which is a little smarter. It starts to guess what you need. Hey, I see you're traveling. Maybe you need a hotel? But the next step, that's autopilot AI. That's where you just say, book the best hotel for my trip, and boom, it goes and does the whole thing for you. I mean, the convenience there is just off the charts, right? But it also brings up a really big question. What are we giving up to get that convenience? How much of our privacy, how much of our own choice are we handing over? And for retailers, this is a huge deal because trust, once you lose it, is incredibly hard to get back. So, you might be asking, why all this focus on AI and robots and data? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle comes down to solving a massive, and I mean massive problem in retail. We're talking about a $1.73 trillion problem called inventory distortion. Yeah, you heard that right. Look at that number. $1.73 trillion. That's what IHL research shows is lost every year globally because of two simple things: having empty shelves when a customer wants to buy something, or having way too much of the wrong stuff that nobody wants. It's an absolutely colossal waste of money. And this chart tells the whole story. The retailers who are winning, the profit leaders growing by over 10%, they're investing more than 200% more in tools that give them visibility into their inventory. And it's simple, right? When you know exactly what you have and where it is, you don't lose sales to out of stocks, and you don't have to slash prices on overstocks. The link between investing in this tech and actually making more money is crystal clear. And look, this isn't just one or two companies doing cool stuff. It's a huge wave washing over the entire industry. So let's do a quick rapid-fire round to see just how widespread this really is. I mean, check this out. Merchmix, they're using that Agentic AI we just mentioned to solve that trillion-dollar inventory mess. Adobe's tools are letting giants like Coca-Cola instantly create marketing that's perfectly on brand. Gap Inc. is literally betting its future on AI, partnering with Google to build their whole tech roadmap. And Mondelez, they're using AI to slash their content production costs by 30 to 50%. It's not just one department. AI is showing up everywhere. And let's go inside the warehouse. Amazon's got this new robot called Blue Jay. Get this, it does 3 jobs at once. It picks an item, puts it away for storage, and groups it for an order in one single smooth move. We're talking about a massive jump in efficiency. And it turns out these robots are even getting a personality. Seriously, a Del Monte robot in a Chicago grocery store was telling customers, "Grab a fresh banana before I eat it." Just kidding, I'm a robot. It's pretty funny, and it's a cool little peek at how these bots are becoming part of the everyday shopping trip. Okay, but with all this amazing futuristic tech we've been talking about, it's time for the reality check part of our show. Because while one team is busy programming a joke-telling robot, another team is dealing with a problem that is way more basic and way more frustrating: theft. Just look at this number for a second. 61%. What is that? That's the number of store managers who say that even with all the new laws and big crackdowns on retail crime, they've seen absolutely no improvement with theft in their stores. None. And if you look at the breakdown, it gets even worse. A recent survey shows that for 41%, there's been no improvement. For another 20%, things have actually gotten worse. That's a huge reality check. It reminds you that you can have the smartest AI in the world, but it doesn't mean much if you can't solve the fundamental problems happening right there on the sales floor. So we have flown through a ton of information today. If you want to really dig into these stories and get the full analysis, you absolutely have to go check out the source for all this at www.ihlservices.com. And all of this leaves us with one big final question to chew on. As AI keeps changing everything in retail, from the warehouse all the way to our online shopping carts, how are brands going to balance that amazing automated convenience with the messy, real-world human challenges like theft that are happening on the ground every single day?